School taught you how to memorize answers, follow instructions, and wait for permission. But it never taught you how money actually works in the real world. And that gap is silently costing you years of your life, opportunities you never saw, and income you never realized you were capable of earning. From a young age, you were trained to believe that good grades lead to a good job. A good job leads to stability, and stability equals success. But no one explained how fragile that system really is, or how dependent it makes you on external forces you cannot control. You were never taught how money flows, how it multiplies, how it leaks, or how it traps people who don't understand its rules. Instead, you were taught to obey the system, not question it, and definitely not to redesign it for yourself. One of the first money skills school never taught you is that income and wealth are not the same thing. Income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep, grow, and control. Millions of people earn good salaries and still live paycheck to paycheck because no one ever taught them how to manage cash flow, how to separate lifestyle from income, or how to avoid upgrading expenses faster than income. School never explained that every raise can either make you richer or poorer depending on how you handle it. And because of that, most people unknowingly trap themselves in golden cages, earning more but feeling just as stressed, just as dependent, and just as afraid to stop working. Another critical skill you were never taught is how debt really works. School teaches math, but not interest in real-life terms. They never show you how compound interest can either work for you or destroy you, depending on which side you're on. They don't explain why banks love consumers who don't understand debt, or why minimum payments are designed to keep you paying forever. As a result, people sign contracts they don't fully understand, commit to years of financial pressure, and normalize stress as a normal part of adult life, without realizing that stress is often the cost of ignorance, not necessity. School also never taught you how to think in terms of value creation. You were trained to ask, what job should I get, instead of what problem can I solve? The job mindset limits your income to hours worked, while the value mindset allows income to scale beyond time. Because of this missing lesson, most people spend their lives trying to earn more by working harder, instead of earning smarter by creating systems, products, or services that can grow without constant effort. You were never taught leverage, the idea that one unit of effort can produce many units of result. Leverage through skills, technology, media, capital, or people is how real wealth is built. Yet school systems ignore it completely because leverage creates independence, and independence is hard to standardize and control. Another skill school avoided is teaching you how to manage risk. You were taught to avoid mistakes at all costs, to fear failure, and to aim for safety. But in the real world, avoiding risk is often the riskiest strategy of all. Playing safe may protect you from short-term loss, but it exposes you to long-term stagnation. Because of this conditioning, many people stay in jobs they hate, avoid opportunities they don't fully understand, and reject growth because it feels uncomfortable, not because it's wrong. School never taught you how to evaluate risk versus reward, how to run small experiments, or how to fail intelligently. Instead, it trains you to see failure as identity damage rather than data. Another missing money skill is negotiation. School teaches obedience, not negotiation. You were trained to accept what is offered, not to question terms, prices, or conditions. In the real world, income, salaries, contracts, and opportunities are often negotiable, but people who were never taught this skill leave massive amounts of money on the table simply because they feel uncomfortable asking. This silence compounds over years, leading to lower lifetime earnings and fewer opportunities, all because no one taught you how to communicate value confidently. School also failed to teach you how to manage emotions around money. Fear, guilt, shame, and ego drive more financial decisions than logic, yet emotional intelligence around money is almost never discussed. People overspend to feel important, undercharge because they feel undeserving, and avoid looking at their finances because it triggers anxiety. Without emotional awareness, even high income cannot produce peace. Another lesson missing from school is the power of ownership. You were trained to be a consumer, not an owner. You were taught how to buy things, not how to own assets. Assets are things that pay you or grow in value over time, while liabilities take money from you. Because this distinction was never emphasized, many people work their entire lives buying liabilities and wondering why freedom never arrives. School also never explained taxes in a practical way. Taxes are one of the largest expenses you will ever face, yet most people learn about them only after they start losing money to them. Understanding how taxes work, how income is categorized, and how legal structures can reduce tax burden is a massive advantage, but it remains hidden knowledge for most. Another costly omission is teaching time value. School conditions you to trade time for grades, then time for money, but never teaches you how to decouple income from time. This keeps people locked into linear growth paths where income increases slowly while time remains finite. Without understanding scalability, people burn out chasing incremental progress instead of exponential opportunity. School also never taught you how to build financial resilience. Emergency funds, multiple income streams, and adaptability are rarely discussed, yet they are the difference between panic and control during economic uncertainty. When crises hit, those without these skills suffer the most, not because they're incapable, but because they were never prepared. Perhaps the most damaging thing school never taught you is how to think independently about money. You were taught to follow formulas, not question assumptions. But money is not a fixed system, it's a dynamic game influenced by psychology, technology, and timing. Those who question, learn continuously, and adopt gain an edge, while those who rely only on outdated rules struggle. The cost of not learning these skills is not just financial, it's emotional. It shows up as stress, regret, and the quiet feeling that you're always working hard but never getting ahead. The truth is, school didn't fail you intentionally, but it also didn't prepare you for reality. The good news is that these skills can be learned at any stage of life. Money is not about intelligence, it's about awareness. Once you start learning how money actually works, you regain control. You stop reacting and start designing. You stop surviving and start building. And the moment you realize that financial education is your responsibility, not the system's, you stop waiting for permission and start creating your own path.